The hip-hop writer is a creator, composing understanding words of cultured brilliance, powering a rebalance of the elements equally. Pages of rejuvenated reaffirmation. Simply the almighty leadership of insightful craftwork that stands to build through any conversation born to be. Yet his daily duty is as a journalist that questions properly and uses his ears to filter the real. And as the art decays by dilution, he concentrates the best again and again, exposing it in the print. Today's journalist and tomorrow's historian, he listens to share. Here is that necessary attempt executed again and again and again. This is the Power Right Show on S.STREET Media. This is your brother, the lone low life with the home-sewn garment, the Boricua with the build, the true and living God, stepping in score, Sunya Zala, a.k.a. Skillustrator Low. And we're on S.STREET Media, the evolution of media, where every intrigue will have its own show, every incredible thought will have its own episode, and every timeless insight will be archived. And as I always say, this show is about my element of hip-hop, the writer of art and science on music. As I like to say, the truth, the only show in history on the hip-hop writer element that I, a veteran of over 25 years, helped pioneer. And we got my book out. The Filtered Reel still out. One of the many products, man. 2021. Ooh, when we get through this hell, we got a lot of stuff coming out. We've been in the barracks. Quarantined, and just making work. You know what I mean? And it's going to make this book look like my first demo, like a demo. You know what I'm saying? Like a demo and everything like that. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, we got a great guest with us tonight. I'm alerting him now. We're going to get him on the line. We got, a great guest with us. I'm going to introduce him when he's actually here on the line. One of the best MCs out. And it's really because of what he's doing. And I'm going to explain all that. And I'm going to say this. There's so many albums. I just want to say that there's over 300 albums that I got. And I'm saying not the ones I get and I toss them. Not the ones I don't care about, like I took to listen to, like Jay Electronica's albums and stuff like that. Ouch. You know what I mean? But albums I'm really listening to. So, let's enjoy the albums, but let's try to put them in a context where they make some kind of sense. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the guests that I'm having on these shows are really the artists that make multiple works. They make singular works of note, but they're works that are special. And out of all these albums that come out, the over 200, 300 albums that come out, EPs, albums, LPs, these are the ones that are worthwhile. The ones that like you could put in your pocket and you could live off, like you could survive some shit. You could go through some things, and you can always be appreciative of the musicianship and the thematic insights that, that we're giving you. You know what I'm saying? So I hear a lot of that. One real quick addendum to the last episode. I always talk about the last show real quick. I want to say thank you again to Napoleon the Legend for our last show, episode 77. I call that the NDL 2020 build because we're going to have him on this show at least once a year. You know what I'm saying? Because he'd be throwing stuff like that. That 3-year run, 2018, 2019, and now we could chalk up 2020 because the Dragon Ball G is his last work that he's officially releasing. He's done a lot of more work. But that's all he's releasing for 2020. And we can say, wow, a lot of people releasing a lot of work. But, man, that 3-year run, though, that's going to be one of the best runs that people could go back to. And it's not finished, though. I expect him to have another big year. I would expect him to keep writing like that until he gets tired or he just gets so many shows that he won't be able to record as much. That's really what's going to stop people like Napoleon the Legend. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's gonna be really powerful to document. But I would put that run up though against all of those great runs like Doom and all of them. You know what I mean? And it should be incredible though. But We should have our guests on shortly. I'm gonna introduce them officially as soon as we get them. But where are we gonna go for real hardcore music? You know what I'm saying? And my guests that I have on the air now, um, everybody talks about being hardcore. They want that. They got new names like lo-fi music. But this is the hardest. I gotta keep it real. This is the hardest brother out. The most rugged shit you will ever hear, because you either match his ruggedness or you're lesser. You can't really eclipse it. You know what I'm saying? My guest today, we tried to get him on the show before. Technical difficulties prevailed. We got the God Apreme with us. Peace to the God.
Peace, God.
Oh,
Peace.
man, great. One of the few MCs that his rugged, concrete gravel voice though is actually that dope in just talking flow. You know what I'm saying? But yo, peace to the God, man.
Peace.
This interview build is really gonna be an introduction to people. Yo, God, you are criminally uncovered in this media industry, in this underground industry. We're gonna go through it, all of these little details. How there's people that love to bite, people that I have spoken to you, and I've said, listen, what else could it be? You know what I'm saying? What else could it be? And we're gonna go through all that shit, God. But just introduce yourself, God, real quick, God.
Peace. I'll be Apreme. That's a contraction for my righteous name, which is Allah born supreme.
Peace.
You know, I'm a 5%er, a son of Almighty God, Allah first and foremost, and I do the MC shit on some secondary shit. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's an important point, God. Where you rest at, God?
Chicago, also known as C. Medina.
That's right. So after this interview, though, if you start telling me Kanye's your favorite Chicago MC, though, you're fucking done. You know what I mean?
Yo, word up. Hey, yo, it's all these so-called 5%ers on Busta Rhymes jock right now. Yo, start supporting MCs that actually rep our flag. You know what I mean?
You said it before I could. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, yo.
I learned.
Yo,
No, go ahead, God. Build, God, build.
No, it's like, yo, I be seeing that. You know, the guards be like, yeah, the guards ain't in the music no more. But they too quick to support, shit about other sad nations. They quick to jump on some Wallace Farad Muhammad songs and shit. I mean,
word. Yeah, people. I saw a post that a whole bunch of wrong posts. It was like, yo, nobody's repping for the gods and things like that. But what's crazy about it is I was like, yo, I'm about to build with the God on tonight's show and everything like that. You know what I mean? And you know what's crazy, God? Like, build on that. Like, for you, what's the difference between building as God, and the difference between, let's say, somebody else that's on a commercial tip, or we could say, let's say it positively, not even negatively, but somebody like, let's say Busta Rhymes or a Nas and stuff. People that even if they speak positive, they're just influenced.
I would say that they're not. You got certain people that are committed to the nation and to different degrees, I guess.
Right.
And like my lineage was, I ain't gonna lie, man. I came up around some like damn near cultish brothers. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was you get the blessings like that, like around like the brothers that are really, really, really about this and that don't change it, and you teach it how you got it. That's where the blessings are at. You know what I mean? Because once you start bending to the will of the mental dad, you lose part of yourself. And it's like that's one thing. We don't deal with refracted light. You know what I'm saying? We're not out here making rainbows and shit. You know what I mean? We don't bend the light to the tune of those in the grave and shit. We got to use that to make them stand upright.
Indeed. One of the problems, though, with not knowing the difference is because we don't get to hear music like yours. People that are influenced by this nation can't make the music that you make. You know what I mean? They have to be actually in it, though. It's a special thing. The other thing is the consistency of no mystery. You know what I mean? We listen to records like yours, Apreme, though, and we're not getting, we're not getting mixed spiritual ideas. You know what I mean? And that's a big deal. You know what I mean? That's a big deal.
Yeah, you definitely got a lot of mixing and tampering. Like, and then you also got like a pocket of I guess conscious rappers, if you want to call it that, that are trying to, I guess hijack the God hop title or whatever. And I mean, it's what it is. We're always going to be the piece with the magnetic, one way or another. You're always going to see the God that's out there doing his duty. He's always going to be shining the brightest and shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's get some of your history, guy. Like how you got into hip hop out there in Chicago, and how that even intersects. It's gonna most likely gonna intersect with how you got knowledge yourself. You know what I mean? But give us that story, God.
Yeah. I was exposed to it early on. Like my cousin, who was older than me, he used to go out to Now Why and get tapes and shit. And so, that's kind of like I had those hand me downs. And when I say tapes, I'm not talking about BLS tapes. I'm talking like, your Tony Touch, because he ain't that old. You know what I mean? he ain't that old to be getting them WBLS tapes and shit. So
Right, yeah. Some cold fresh shit, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't in that era, but I mean, he had like the Tony Touch, like the Mr. C joints, like all of that. You know what I mean? And so, I think around '96, I started MCing, and it was on some real like I wasn't really committed to it until like maybe 2000 that's like when I first recorded. And the first song I ever recorded was with this group called the Landlords. And it was at DJ Catch 22 studio. So I mean, DJ Catch 22 is like a well-known DJ in Chicago. So I mean, I played the battle circuit for a minute in the city, and like really, if you wanted to be around hip hop back then, you had to go to the South Side. So like now, the North Side's popping now, but like back then, everything was out south, as far as like venues and shit like that. And so, I mean, I spent a lot of time out there, and in between that, I was also just doing the knowledge of different things. I was searching for that trillions of years until I got light from Powerful King God of Law. You know what I'm saying? And so, when I got light from the God, I stuck with this ever since. I've been walking this for almost 20 miles.
That's peace, God. That's definitely peace. Because I remember, you had music, in the very beginnings. I learned of you, like in the early 2010s and shit. You know what I mean? And even before that, and then you kind of stopped, and then you came back strong. You know what I mean? And
yeah. That was I was with a group at the time, Invincible Temple.
Right,
and,
right.
And yeah, and so like everybody kind of their schedules changed up, and certain brothers stepped away from the music. Real life real life happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I stuck with it though. It's something that it's almost like it ain't even a hobby. It's a habit. It's like a compulsion with me. So I stuck with it. And
that's right. Yeah. Let me take a pause here. For the listeners, though, you want to pause and see how dope this is. Apreme, APREME .bandcamp.com, or go to his IG, War God, WARGAUDD, War God, and that's his IG. And trust me, what I want to get into is like, listen. So you got this knowledge of stuff. You're coming from Chicago, right? You're making all this music. You're starting to make this music, and you've developed over these years. But it's interesting that when people think of Chicago, they're thinking like Twister. They're thinking of Kanye. They're thinking of Common. You know what I'm saying? And your stuff is hardcore. It's what people today are labeling like lo-fi shit and everything like that. This is stuff made underneath the basement, you know what I'm saying, levels, you know. It's keeping a sound. It also has a thematic push that's real rugged, you know what I'm saying? You know, real ancient warrior type shit. The imagery is cryptic as hell and violent. Tell me how you developed all this, God.
This is well, I mean, I'm from East Humble Park, and like I grew up around like a lot of gang graffiti, and so like cats kind of had that real cultish, cryptic style to the way they did shit.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that combined with like just comic book influences, and of course I incorporate the teachings in my art also. Like if those that could detect it, you'll see the flag here or there, like in a fine mist. You know what I
Absolutely,
mean?
absolutely.
And so, I strive to blur all those lines to pull in the 85 somehow, because more and more people I talk to, they're telling me that a lot of brothers are actually coming to the light of a Law's World Manifest through the music that I'm putting out. So that's like on some, that's a definitely a game right there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, I think so too. Man, it's just really like a warrior score. You know, a lot very anthemic music. Man, if you can't get your training on, your workout in, you can't get that bench press in with this on, then you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? But and also, when it talks about the music, that lo-fi sound, which people talk, and a lot of people use as a gimmick, right? But it's not only you producing; it's also you having the ability to meet up and find all of the worthy producers that have that sound. You know what I'm saying? And it lends your projects a real cohesive, texture that even if you're not producing the whole thing, you're getting that vibe. You know what I mean? And we're gonna talk about the War God LP more in detail, but I just want to put that out there as a general idea because you're doing beats too. When did you start doing beats? And we've talked about the machinery that you have a affinity for and like your reasonings why you only want to use those particular machines. So let us know about that.
Well, I started producing around 2003,
Okay.
like 2004, and it started out of necessity because I guess the ear. I guess everybody's ear for production was leaning more towards like a Just Blaze style,
Mm-hmm.
or like they were really trying to have their shit pop instead of have it sound like boom bap or whatever.
Yeah, it had a lot of
And
treble on it. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. And then the the drum patterns were just getting like more busy.
Hmm.
And so I said, yo, I needed something that I could get with, but also that matches like where I'm trying to go with the lyrics.
Hmm.
So that had me experimenting with production. And I think hands on, especially like these old devices, the components of these old machines were like designed for certain capabilities. That's why like I fucks with the SP, the EPS, most recently the 60 Mark II.
Hmm.
Um, and it's wild because all of these now are like pretty much antiques. Like if you talk to people,
Right.
cats are
Right.
like, yeah, those are antiques. That the limitation, there's too many limitations. I think the limitations actually bring out the creativity of the producer. Depending, it's almost like you being a martial artist. It's almost like if you were like close quarters combat, there's limitations, but you could develop a lot more power when you train for close quarters.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's there's limitations, but I mean if you find a way around that, you can still exercise something like or execute something real. What I'm saying, real effective. You know,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. I definitely see that. Every
Plus, I think sonically speaking, these machines had something to do with like the era, like all these eras that people romanticize about.
hmm.
So I mean, there's no reason that we can't bring it back full effect. Just sonically speaking, if you got the same gear, the same tools, you can make the same architecture. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Build the same soundscape. Um, I think what it is that, and I this is another thing from martial arts I've learned too. Like, just keep that great wall up, but like keep like the walls up, like as far as like your style, because you let too many people see how you do your shit, they could reverse engineer it. Kind of like they didn't want anybody to see them training in Shaolin or
That's
nothing like
right.
that.
That's right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I still do most of my training really by myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not outside. Yeah. But I see what you're saying though. And that's why like when I talk to producers about how they make beats and shit like that, I really try to keep it general. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you. I would give as much as you willing to give. You know, but the thing about it is that the way you're doing the music, even lo-fi music that people are like, this is lo-fi, and you could go to Bandcamp and look for lo-fi music now. You know what I mean? They're deliberately trying to. It's almost like they're adding the ingredients of a lo-fi, crowded, crowded bass, crowd the room with bass, all that kind of stuff. But it's almost like added ingredients after. Whereas like when your songs though, they're embedded in there, and then the life of each song ends up being different. So there's almost like in the productions that you have, there's almost like an inconsistency. Like you don't know, like a lot of times your vocals, we don't know where they're going to be coming from. You know what I'm saying? Or how intense they're gonna have to pierce through to get through. You know what I mean? So almost like each track, there's new challenges for you. Unlike when most people make records, they're like, listen, I like to be here in the mix. I want to be here in the mix. I want to be heard this way in the mix, and every song will be different, but we'll hear that person in the mix the same way. Your songs don't come out like that. You come out differently in the mix a lot of times, though. But because you have that voice that you have, we hear everything. You know what I mean? And it makes the music. That's to me, if I had to describe it, what makes your music really sound like that classic shit. You know what I mean?
I think there's elements of other genres, like in as far as the theory of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
There's elements of other genres, and like I'll give you an example. Like Santana used to run his mic through like I think a guitar pedal sometimes,
Hmm.
just to add like that extra, you know what I'm saying, raspiness. And so like you got different technical things you could do to experiment with sound. Like I ran the EPS through a guitar amp once just to see what it would sound like, and the drums sound crunchier
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And there's certain things that cats, I guess, they throw under the bus because they look at it as outdated,
Right.
and it could
Right.
be a storage issue too. Like people ain't trying to have crates and crates of records when you could just look up everything on YouTube and eDig now. You
Hmm.
know, um, it seems like hipsters are the only ones buying vinyl like that.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, let me take a minute though to say like, um, it's not only the record we're talking about this year to me that's a must-have, but I first realized that your records were really on the next level. I've always been doing analysis to your music, but when you released Darker Realms, Higher Sciences, then I knew that like you really had come to a level of perfection with this. You know what I mean? And for the listeners, I wrote about that album in my Filtered Real book, and I said these things about him that are general and still applicable today. You know what I mean? So you get an idea of the visuals of what you're looking at with Apreme. but also like the sound of Apreme. I said Apreme is a relic of reckoning to today's felons of fruit flavored fraudulence. His videos are filmed behind dumpsters in apartment building basements. Supers won't even go in. Cemeteries, unchecked bodies of water, and shit like that. That's the visuals of Apreme when you watch Apreme videos. And then when you listen to him, you hear a near baritone that drank concrete laced Bajichu. His vocals pierce through this lo-fi wilderness with complete articulation and no screaming necessary. His lyric layering is subtle, but evident to the engaged listener working to decode. And of course, though, I, continued on. But to me, this marks like if you're first getting to Apreme now, this is what you're looking for. If you were a wimp all your life and you don't have music to really get you out of that wimp level, this is it. This is what's going to draw you out. This is what's going to, pump you up. But it's a music with a lot of integrity. You know what I'm saying? And, as we're learning here, not easy to make. You know what I mean? Not easy to make. And, there's a couple of things, though, that we have to talk about. We have to talk about the creativity of the imagery, the artwork, the thematic presence, because we keep talking about 5%ers and stuff, but there's so many good 5% MCs, but there's no one that's doing it like you. So when we look at the real 5% MCs, the ones that really represent, you can say whatever they say is really what we deal with. You're not sounding like anyone else. So like, let's say if I said, how about Raz Fresco? Man, he's making great music, but it doesn't sound at all like Apreme. How about the god Darkim? His music doesn't sound at all like Raz or your music. You know what I mean? So, like, you're getting real, 5%ers now that are making unique music that you can't just buy one and you have the cliche 5% music. It's totally different on all levels, But when we talk about the imagery god, right? Especially really last year a lot, there, I got to bring it up to you. There was a lot of biting going on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I've seen it.
And all of a sudden, everyone had medieval drawings now. Everyone had, horseback warriors from, Gothic periods. And I'm like, yo, wow, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And, you had some issues, though. I want to draw it out there. You say what you say about it, because to me, your music is not defined by your beefs. But, man, you had some type of record there when you felt Vinny Paz had copied your cover for the album he did with Tragedy Gaddafi. And, I spoke to the god Tragedy Gaddafi, and he just, was like, oh, I made the music, and I let him handle everything. So it was really a thing that was between you and Vinny Paz. And, no one was really there. It was just you and him, and then ended up being you versus all the fanboys. You know what I mean? Out there,
I noticed that with certain. Fuck it, I'm gonna just be frank with it. With certain white rappers, they fan base is real guerrilla with it. Like, or they try to be. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely, yeah.
They try to be real guerrilla with it, and so it's like. A lot of them was Trump supporters and shit like that. So I don't know. You gotta take that for what it's worth.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot do following that and covering that. It's an interesting thing you said, because a lot of the underground white fan base is just really looking for their own racist views, but with the music that's cool and sounds good to them, and that's hip hop. And the truth is, whether he said racist things, because you don't really hear racist things, really, let's be honest, in Vinny Paz music and stuff. It really just is battle bars that are kind of, there, But his target market absolutely is filled with racist kids. You know what I mean?
I don't know. This is the thing. It's like, they're either racist or they're so removed from black culture that they just become targets. Like,
yeah. It could be a combination of that. Like, yeah. But they're definitely not coming from a hip hop world where they followed hip hop, and this also is a hip hop artist that they like. You know what I mean? And that's an interesting dynamic. You know what I mean? But you ended up in war with them, and I just put that out there because the song you made, Face Value, man, that was as tough as they come, though. You know what I'm saying? And in this decade, in the last decade, it was part of, 2019, 18. That goes down as one of the best battle songs I've heard in that decade. You know what I mean?
It's
Even
it's wild because like the album that he did with Tragedy Gaddafi, he uh he didn't count on him actually biting the name of a group that I'm a part of called Guillotine Regime. So it's
hmm
like he took the mask and he kind of just infringed on my crew's name, and so it's like wow, you know what I mean?
hmm
Pinpointed.
yeah, 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 and
So
it just was real, very suspect. And of course, though, just for the listeners, though, if it just sounds like he's looking at that, man, I followed this, and we saw the post where Vinnie Paz actually laughed, and where he laughed, and he virtually admitted that he took it, and it was on some so what, that was really the so what, and so to me, he took it. You know what I mean? He bit that. He thought it would look great on his album cover. He thought it'd be okay to just copy something because more people will look at it when he uses it, and that's why I bring it up, God, because it's something that I know, and I'm giving my word as a journalist out there, not just as the God, but as a journalist out there that I saw him admitting to that, like if it was a joke, you know what I mean? He wasn't standing by and said, I don't bite, this and that. He was more like, haha, well, that's the breaks, and
well, I mean the thing about it too is that now I'm looking at it. It's funny because Guillotine, the brother in Guillotine Regime, which is our crew, he's man, he's so ill with it on the mic and on the boards. But he tagged me on this post when Necro was out in bill for biting, right?
mm,
And so there goes Vinny's partner in rhyme biting his own brother.
hmm,
So it's like, and it's funny because Guillotine, he basically wrote in the comment section, he's like, "Yo, it's been a bad year for the heavy Xerox Kings."
the heavy
All right,
Xerox kicks, that's tough
yeah,
right
heavy
there.
Xerox Kings. And then I I
Play up the
said
heavy metal kings, yeah.
I said birds of a feather in the comment section. Now right after that, Ill Bill blocks me.
It's
So
all there. It's all there,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's all there. You know what I
It's
mean?
all there.
And the proof is in the pudding, you know what I'm saying? Because the music has ideas, you've got ideas that nobody's touching on, so it is what it is. But man, I'll tell you something, for a brother like you that's so hardcore and stuff, it was fun to hear you go in on that, you know what I mean? It was fun to hear you bomb somebody, instead of just the indirect third parties that get destroyed on tracks, you know what I mean? But with that said, the major thing that we're talking about, I was saying this before I got you on the air. This year, I've collected, and I've say maybe, okay, if I'm being nice, maybe I can knock off 50. Seriously, just 50. 50 to 100 out of 300 albums I've collected this year. And so there's about 200 quality albums, let's say, right? And then you could bracket further because a lot of great MCs have released lots of works. So their best work is spread out through a lot of works. That's just the way it's going to be. You know what I mean? And when we talk about, so I don't really like doing all that shit. I don't really agree with it anymore of just doing top 10 records of 2020 or some shit like that. When I have like 300 records, that's ridiculous. That doesn't, as a journalist here trying to share music, that doesn't really share music. It's basically advertising a record. Because what I'm supposed to do is to tell you that there's a whole world now of music. But if I talked about it, I also would have to make a category, not just for artists that are doing great with multiple works, but then those singular works that are really special. And to me, the War God LP, God, it's definitely one of them that was special. You know what I mean? There's nothing like it. I keep saying that, but you're not gonna find anything like that. It hits every time, and I feel like you're finding your stride and stuff like that. The vocals are even recorded even better. There's power. I've played your stuff through all types of different systems, so it's not like I have to find the right system for the EQ levels to be right. You know what I mean? And
Word.
just a powerful record, and that's what it really what I wanted to talk to. One of the best records of 2020, the War God LP, again on apreme.bandcamp.com. Let's build on it, God. All right. This album, though, I always felt like I obviously feel like a lot, like a lot of great producers. You could easily make an album just with your beats, though. But you put on a lot of the people that are in the crew. The Guillotine Regime, no, those brothers are just as talented as you. They're amazing. The Guillotine Regime album, I think, came out last year, and that was loaded with shit. Um, what was the science behind you in the working relationship you have with these producers here? You know what I mean? Like, Last Bronzeman, Mon Placebo, all of these guys here. Lord Bijitsu, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, Last Bronzeman, that's my physical. He was also part of Invincible Temple and Black Mass.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
Mon Placebo, I linked with him online maybe 2 years ago, and I just seen that he got some ill production. So I reached out. I said, "Yo, I could see myself definitely wrecking some of that." You know what I mean? And so, as with Guillotine, me and him, we've been having a common cause to work on music for a minute, maybe a few years. And so we put together that Guillotine Regime. It was me, him, Tone Rush, and Mon Placebo,
Yeah.
and we basically put that album together the same the same year as the beef occurred. It's like we're getting ready to drop this album, and these dudes not only bite like you know one of the members' monikers, they actually uh, take the name of our band for the project, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Camouflage Regime, Guillotine Regime. It's like wow, they
Yeah.
kind of they nailed themselves to the cross with that one in a way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know. Um, but that's wild because Warrior Gene, I think Darker Realms and Warrior Gene, the workflow was, at least on my end, was very similar. Um,
Okay. Similar how? Similar how?
well, because I was using the SP for Darker Realms. There was a lot of SP on there,
Mm.
and I used the SP for a lot of the stuff on Warrior Gene. But I had started using the EPS also for Warrior Gene, so there's certain joints I made on there, like Colt 45.
Right, right.
So that was an EPS one. So I think the writing aspect, I just I pretty much get blended and write. Whether or not I'm blended, I could just have some. I could have Bustelo and just start writing rhymes. you know.
Are you a guy that needs to have the beats there? The beats inspire the lyrics, or you have like certain themes you want to get off, and you trying to, or do you ever try to fit a verse to a beat, and make something off a beat verse that you wrote?
um, it's both.
Hmm.
Sometimes you write your history in advance,
Mm.
and then you got to fill that square miles with drums and samples, you know. And then there's other times where it's just like, yo, you gotta be God in the earth now, because it's like you already got the beat made, so it's like you God in the earth now.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? And
Indeed,
so
indeed. And
it depends. I think since I started making beats out of necessity, I always think like an MC. Like I'm wired like that to just approach everything like an MC would.
mm,
Uh, but I mean, production's weird because you got other producers that the chemistry that they got with the stuff that you make, that's a huge that's a big factor in like making albums work, you know.
I can definitely see that.
And that's why, like, I guess I got remixes and singles that I got to drop from like other producers because it's like, they talented as fuck, but it's like when it comes to creative vision and projects, you got to make sure that the chemistry of everybody that's bringing shit to the table, that
Hmm.
everything matches and that it interacts with each other. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. How long it took you to make this album? Like collect the beats and everything and decide them. You know what I mean? Because when I think of seeing so many different producers, I'm thinking like, did they throw you a truckload of beats like most people say they get? Um, you know what I'm saying? Like how long it took to make this album?
Uh, I would say probably like close to a year because I had some of the beats made like right around the time I was working or we were promoting Warrior Gene. So I had already had some of the beats made.
Mm,
And then my placebo hit me with some more. And Guillotine, he laced Bale's Demise.
mm.
So I think once he hit me with Bale's Demise, that's when I started like recording. I said, yeah, it's time to record. 'Cause that was the first thing I recorded to, but I chose to release Depths of Hell as the debut, like
Got you.
the debut single. Because you know how back in the days in the '90s, how like they'd always have that single for the album, the first single promoting it right before the album dropped and shit. And that was
Mm,
Depths of Hell for that one.
mm. Definitely, definitely. Let me. I want to get all angles here, right? And want you to explain kind of the theme and how you expect it because you called the album War God. That's the name also of your Instagram and stuff. Um,
Yeah,
tell me about this though. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
when I teach my students and stuff, like they could be there or not, but they're really being taught to be warriors. You know what I mean? And this is a theme that you have in your music. Dealing with this knowledge of self, the world that we're living in. But I want to hear your perspective of how you devise this and the thematic, because there's a lot of thematic presence being put down, especially from the darker realms, and then of course into this album.
yeah. Well, I think War God has a lot to do with the people that gave me knowledge and from where they came and the people that taught them and further back
Hmm.
because I could trace it back to Medina. And then if you look at the way God is spelled, uh, it's spelled kind of like Sham God used to spell his name.
Got you right.
And
Gaudd. Right. Okay.
right, right, right. Divine deliverer, you
Mm.
know. And so that right there, it was like my way of putting it out there. So like people that have the science on what we teach and know the history, they'll see that it's very much ingrained in it, even the album titles. You know, darker realms, higher sciences. That's like about the street brothers that know better, but sometimes it takes longer for them to do better.
Mm.
So they try to have a partnership with life and death, which is like that leaves a fine line, but also gatekeepers.
Mm.
Gatekeepers divide life from death because
Mm.
if you're always raising the dead, you know what I'm saying. If you always bring in mathematics, pure living mathematics, to reanimate those that are in the grave, then yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's when that fine line disappears because you're giving them life again.
Mm.
However, this ain't the era where you could wear dashikis and crowns and all of that. So it's like you're gonna lose the babies if you do all that. So you gotta have aggressive music. You know what I mean? It's like a law said, you gotta have a heart to kill.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Man, I appreciate that answer, God. You know what I mean?
True indeed.
I want to go through some of these songs. Maybe you could give me some ideas of how they were taping, and I want to, get on my Michael Eric Dyson and quote some lyrics here because some of these songs they just, they put a joyous smile on my face. Though the lyrics you be throwing out here, you know what I'm saying? We talked about that lead single, "Depths of Hell." You had some bars. You said, "I prescribe the fabric of space and then create time, decimate you into fractals, break your life force down so it can exit all the channels." Man, fucking bars. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's.
that's actually a lot of chi gung. That's actually dealing with the chi
Mhm.
channels and vessels.
That's right. That's right.
So I mean, you know there's like a lot of esoteric Taoism in that verse if you were to draw it up.
Hmm. Destroying niggas through the chi and shit. Fucking crazy, and that's why it stuck to me. I have certain notes here too. Every time I listen to the Oreo remix, Lord Beat Jitsu. A lot of people know Lord Beat Jitsu. He's on a lot of projects though. He just did an album with I'm forgetting who, one of the brothers in the Booze Brothers, and that was a dope album. Um, that Oriel remix is just an anthem. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
anthemic.
yeah,
Like crazy. But
yeah, yeah. That brother, he definitely holds it down. Like on the boards, he's vicious.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And if people out there, if that's the type of style that you're looking for, if that's the way you think beats ought to be made, like with Lord Beats Jitsu, then you're in for a real treat with all the brothers that Apreme works with, along with Apreme's music. But we talked about Ball's demise. You had some really strong bars there. They were just battle bars, sick bars, just clever as hell. I issue mad battle cries at your memorial and tell your pro-black friends that use a fucking Oreo. I'm the type to shank you just at the pearly gates. Christ among the lifers when I'm property of the state. Got the green light to carry out transgression. Death angel using your blood to write confessions. That's fucking tough stuff, and I had to just salute that. You know what I mean?
Word. Yo, it's because I'm looking at what I got to keep up with too. I mean, I see what brothers are out here, and the type of shit they out here spitting. So it's like, yeah, this ain't the era where you playing nice and shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to really
Absolutely, yeah.
be you got to be gully out here. That's what it's coming down to, and that's why uh my main thing is to show and prove Allah is the Lord of all worlds. Also, that's why like when I hit the block with my rhymes, I'm gonna make sure you know some of them drill and trap niggas are gonna turn their head and be like, "Damn, is he allowed to say that?"
Right, right.
You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And what I was thinking too when I heard this album. I've heard this album tons of times, and you have a way. We could say all the tracks you ever rhymed on in your whole life. You've been intense though, but that's why it surprised me when Fatal Transactions. I don't know. I gotta say there was something extra in that. You know what I mean? Um, there was even more of an intense, way of rhyming on that. Let me just throw some bars out there that you had there. You said no time to think when the under act up. Put my paranoia in line, can't put my gat up. Solve the riddle of the steel when it's time to blast one. Otherwise, IRS asking where the cash from. Short-sighted vision better than not having one. View through tainted lenses exemplifies stamina. Today's mathematics problem solve, handle it. Peace, God, not a savage in the pursuit of happiness. And then you just said, I just thought it was dope too. Redirecting bloodlust on paper. Don't get it twisted. This rap shit never safer. There's some ideas you had there that were dope too. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people they be slick. You got today's math is get the cash. It's like we know classic lines like that. But when you said today's mathematics problem solved, handle it. That's actually what the whole point of building on today's math is. You know what I mean?
Indeed, indeed,
That's
and
really what the goal is with that exercise. And it just was dope that you had put that out there. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, when I wrote that too, I was also thinking about um, basically not having anything fucked up come home. Like, keep that shit 20 miles to 2,200 miles outside the holy city. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want, there's certain things you don't want to be associated with righteousness, because the law is still true and just at the end of the day. That's why it's like peace, God, not savage in the pursuit of happiness.
Mm.
And so, I mean, it's basically somebody going out there to deal justice without really calculating the square miles of or the gravity on how heavy the situation is.
Mm.
You know.
Indeed, indeed. There was a line you had that I want to ask you about because I know there's a lot more deeper thought into that though. But it's a line that keeps going in my head when I think about it. On Uriel on track 12, Lord Bijitsu did this one again. You said I live for today, so fuck all your timing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That line always hits me heavier every time though. You know what I'm saying? I just want to build on that line though because it's really a heavy line. The more you think about it, you know.
yeah. Well, here and now, basically. Here and now. That's how we deal with it. It's now is the ever occurring interval, because there's never a time when now is not.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so we're off the clock. So when I say motherfuck all your timing, that's them waiting for that trillions of years.
Mm-hmm.
You
That
know what I mean?
mystery, right? That mystery to
Right.
save him. Yeah.
Whereas,
Indeed.
you gotta get up and go out there, and you're not gonna wait for the mystery to bring you food. You're gonna you're gonna live for today. You're gonna go out there and make your daily bread. You're gonna go out there and punch the clock or do whatever you gotta do to eat.
Absolutely, God. Absolutely. Some more bars though. When you track 12, track 13 though, and I'm doing this bar, tour because I want people to know, like, it's just not just stuff, hard beats. Okay, there's stuff to hear here. There's rhyming. There's all the techniques in here. You know what I mean? Wordplay. You said on Israfil, track 13, you said destroy the devil with the biochemical reaction. Then you said diminish your capacity by viciously attacking. Corpses on display for the next fatal attraction. Far from the maximum, I live life and let him die. Bloody sunrise, I throw hands to tell the time. Speed of the purified thought will conceive the rhyme. That shit was crazy at the end. You know what I mean? He said, I throw hands to tell the time. Speed of the purified thought will conceive the rhyme. Man, tell me about that bar right there.
Yeah, that's how there's hands on the clock,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's you throw hands, but also it's also you're fighting to beat the clock also.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
You know what I'm
that
saying?
wordplay is crazy, God. Wordplay is crazy. It says, and the way you worded it, the speed of the purified thought will conceive the rhyme. That's good stuff, man. You don't like that, you don't like hip hop. You know what I mean? And probably the line that made me laugh the most on the album, though. When you said on Divine Executioner, when you said you talk to yourself, I call it necromancing. That shit's hilarious. It's one of the funniest bars you got in the whole album, though. That shit was.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of them are mental dead. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right. The niggas is dead. Fucking crazy though. You know what I mean? I keep saying no one's making music like this guy. You know what I'm saying? No one makes it with the quality and stuff. And if there's, if there's anything that I could do, that I do as a journalist, is really to show an appreciation for that. To show that it's just not just people making songs. A lot of lo-fi stuff is just people throwing extra bass on stuff. It's really not lo-fi. You know what I mean? It doesn't have good samples. There's no real crates. Again, they're just throwing a harder drum break, usually something we know already, Hihachi, something that we know really well, and a lot of bass and probably overdoing the bass, you know what I mean? Or just amplifying the EQs so it sloppies up a little bit, you know what I mean?
True indeed.
That's not real hardcore music that we're talking about, you know what I mean? And that's why it's a gimmick, you know what I mean? That's why it's a gimmick. But this stuff right here, the stuff that Apreme is putting out, is really stuff to listen to. and it doesn't matter whether you 5%, you know, whether you a pork eater out there, you know, there's wars out there, you know what I mean? And this is warrior music, you know what I mean? And we hope that, you know, get you a little enlightened too, you know, as you add on with it. But the imagery, this is one of the best album covers I've seen, you know what I mean? And it has so much stuff in it, the album cover, you know what I mean? I can't even, you know, begin to analyze all that shit. But when you're working now, God, like between you and the, you know, the guillotine crew, you know, guillotine regime and all that, what's the next steps for you, God?
I think. Well, right now I'm working on my fourth solo. Pretty much, may have some features on there. Of course, you know I'm gonna have the regime on there. Um, I've been I've been thinking about reaching out to Law Preem too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, La Prime, yeah, yeah, that's the guy,
Yeah,
yeah.
the God got. I think our style would definitely we could crack Adams. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, definitely. Well, I'm gonna let the God know because the God, yeah, the God is nice, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the God definitely holding it down. That Dracula's funeral. That's that shit.
yeah, yeah. That's it. That is something I could see you. Yeah, I knew you was fulfilling that
Yeah,
shit.
I said, yo, to God, I was like, I see you, God, I see you.
Word, word. Definitely the same wavelength. It's funny. It's interesting because again, I was saying about the differences. God's got the knowledge of their true and living, but totally different. His voice, his style, um, you know, he's totally different than the way you come out on the mic. You know what I mean? Um, just the diversity. You know, like people that is really looking like other gods rhyming and stuff like that. You know, it's cool. Like they're always gonna be purveyors. People that make positively make music with this knowledge and are influence. You know, like a Buster. You know, Nas. We could always count Nas in there. You know what I mean? But there's so much greater work now that the gods is really rhyming and stuff. There's so many, you know what I mean? And all different, you know what I mean? But
I think what it is too is that for this, like for it to come back, for the magnetic of this to come back, you gotta be seen and heard everywhere. So that's why it's good that you got brothers out there that have a positive light to their music, and then you got brothers that's gully. You got brothers that's you probably got different. You know how they say that there's a lid for every pot.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think now too, especially like with the backpacker era. What was fucked up is you got a lot of hipsters and cats from the suburbs that became like the majority of the underground.
That's true.
So
That's true.
so gully music is frowned upon in some of those circles just because they can't identify with it or
That's
whatever the
true.
case is.
Definitely true. Definitely true. Well, right now, you know, we're at the end of the show, and now we could say that Apreme is really at the apex of this. You know what I mean? When you're looking for gully hardcore music, you're only gonna match them at best. I don't know how, but you're only gonna match them on that hardcore shit. Um, and you're definitely not gonna eclipse them. I haven't heard anything that eclipses the roughness of the work that you've been putting out, God. And it's a blessing. You know what I mean? It's inspiring to me, inspiring to the things I write. You know what I mean? And just all in all the travels I take in my own personal life. So I want to thank you for that, God. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
no doubt, G.
yeah, no doubt. You know, and go to Apreme, Apreme Apreme.bandcamp.com. Stream it, buy it, support it. Tell a friend. You know what I mean? Live with that record. That's a record you live with. You know what I'm saying? You don't just play it and go, ha ha. You don't wash dishes to that shit. You live with that shit. You don't go out there in them streets with that record. You know what I mean? Um, I pity the guy that gets into the shit with me while I'm working, playing that shit in my headphones. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, I want to thank you, God, for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Go get at the God, War, GAU. DD on the Instagram, you know, let the God know. You know what I mean? Let the God know how you feel about his music. Interact with the God, let him know. And with that said, another show's come to the end. Until next time, there'll be a lot more stories to tell, writings to recite, and records to rewind, and reminisce. For my guest, Apreme, and myself, I'm your host, Sunya Zala. And as always, the Power Right Show is a never respect fake broadcast. Peace.
Peace.